Hello and welcome to a Brit Reacts to Bollywood. I want to say to all of you, Namaste, Assalamu Alaikum, Sat Sri Akal Ji, Vanakkam, all the greetings to you and yours wherever you are. And I hope that you are well and safe. I didn't get a chance to watch the Oscars last night, but I've heard some of the awards. It's nice to see that kind of acknowledgement for artists, and some truly great things were awarded, including joint prize for 2 of the best animated films and things like that. I think that's really inspiring, and to see quality rewarded is really important. I think often in the modern era things are made that are more along economic imperatives rather than actual creativity and joy and play. I want to look at the last song, Ich Liebe Dich, from SANGAM, which has been a wonderful journey, a truly joyous journey. But I want to see a bit more of this interview with VYJAYANTHIMALA and get a bit more of a sense of the film. I've really enjoyed your guys' feedback, but it's so interesting to see perspectives behind the scenes of how these things are made, particularly for me as an artist. So let's see what VYJAYANTHIMALA has to say about SANGAM, continued from last week.
And I enjoyed doing that role. Of course, in the beginning, I was not quite used to Raji's way of working.
Which was what?
And of course, he was different in Nazrana because that was not his own film.
Yeah.
So that made all the difference. Yeah. And this was his own film, his own production, So here, wow. That passion in him and workaholic, that
yes.
Absolutely steeped in it.
Yes.
He was maybe a little demanding, at times, a hard taskmaster. But it didn't take me long to understand his style of work, his way of, and how he wanted me to speak, how he wanted me to stand, and how he wanted me to look, and even how he wanted me to climb down the steps, like a whiff of fresh air. So that was it. It was very beautiful because it had all the emotions and, it was a triangle, as everybody knows. And one girl and in love with one man, but gets married to another, whom she tries to love after marriage. And then, of course, the other man sacrifices because they're being best of friends. And so it had a lot of variations and in the emotional sense also. And I think it was very nice. And most important was, I think, for the first time in a Hindi film, this sort of beautiful, picturesque, scenic locations
yes.
that were shot abroad.
Yes.
And, the beauty, Europe was exposed very
Was that the first time you shot abroad? Was
Sorry?
that the first time you shot abroad for a film?
Yes, first time for me too.
All right.
And first time for a Hindi film.
Yes.
And I think he had an eye for beauty, he had an eye for, and he knew the pulse of the audience. He knew what exactly to give them, that popular appeal.
Absolutely.
And yes, not only that, and but there was also, that artistic,
yes.
that in his way of his shots and the framing and the angles that, he used to take a lot of pains. And discuss with Radhu Karmakar, and he knew exactly what he wanted. And the other thing was his remarkable sense of music. His sense of rhythm, his sense of timing. It was amazing. And I have watched him sit for hours with Shankar Jaikishan, and and wanting a particular melody, and it would keep on, revolving in his mind, and till he was satisfied. He was not giving up. So I have seen all that, and the meticulous way that he worked. And the most beautiful song, which is of course, my favorite, is which was shot in Ooty, and he was very particular that my white sari with red border. Very particular about that. And Ye Mera Prem Patra.
Oh, you like that the most?
Naraz Na Hona.
Beautiful. That was shot in Ooty, is it?
That was shot in
It looks like a foreign country.
Yeah, it was like a painting on celluloid. It was so beautiful, very artistically done. I
And there is a
really
part
enjoyed
at the
it.
end of Ye Mera Prem Patra, which you sing in Lataji's voice. At the end, it pans down from the trees.
That's right.
And you're singing.
That's
You know,
right.
कि तुम मेरी जिंदगी हो,
Yeah,
तुम
it's
मेरी
like,
बंदगी
yeah.
हो. You know.
It's very beautifully done.
And when you worked with Raj Kapoor,
She's
you
so
were the
charming.
first, they say you were the first #1 heroine of Hindi cinema. You created the equality between heroes and heroines. There were big heroines, there were great heroines, and you were the greatest. You worked with Bimal Roy before that, you worked with B.R. Chopra before that, you worked with Nitin Bose before that. And then when you came to Raj Kapoor, somebody of your caliber being #1, how did you manage to submit so much to another filmmaker's vision? Was that not difficult?
No, of course, I've worked with all the great film people you mentioned just now. But then everybody, sort of had his own style, his own way of, bringing out the best in me. And for this kind of a role, I thought, I couldn't have done better. You know how, my people, my grandmother and father, they would always be there on the sets, with watchful eyes, seeing that. But it became such a part of the scene. And it was so well conceived that it merged so well, and it didn't look as if, it was just for the sake of doing something.
Absolutely.
Like taking a lampshade and putting on the head, taking the plumes and then shoving it in the hair, and then drawing the curtain and draping it around and things like that, And many people say that, oh, you're Buddha Mil Gaya. Even today, they say Buddha Mil Gaya, your dance number was so good. And I feel it's so funny because it wasn't a dance at all. It was something which came very naturally. And of course, I have traveled abroad, and and I've seen all these in the western part of the world, and I have a fairly good idea. So with that in my mind, I did whatever he explained to me, what he wanted. Then he would give suggestions, and I did the rest.
You choreographed the song
No,
yourself?
it was not even a choreography, as you call it. It was just whatever came, that at the spur of the moment. I couldn't have repeated. If he had taken it a second time, I couldn't have repeated
Oh my
it.
God.
If he had taken it again, a retake, I couldn't have repeated the same. So everything, it was different. Whatever came to me, I just did. Even like dancing on the small,
table.
Table, and with heels, and I was not even used to wearing heels,
That's so funny. Wow. What's so interesting about this, and this is such a charming interview, how sharp she is after 30-something, 40-odd years. She can still recall so many details about it. She can still recall the process, the manner in which Raj Kapoor directed, the small details, the relationships, her parents and her grandparents' presence on the set. All of these little things that really color the experience for you as the viewer. She's such a good interviewee, but she's clearly incredibly present and intelligent. She's very able to, she's emotionally intelligent, she's highly intuitive, and it's fascinating to see that was one take shot in which she instinctively danced as the character on the bed with the bagpipes on the table, all of these incredibly playful moves which are really coming from another part of her being. She is just channeling this character and this work, and she's got such soul and presence. She is of that caliber of work, and she is able to recall so much and to be able to explain it in such an articulate and charming way. She's a great artist, and she really honors the other artists that she's worked with as well, the other directors, which the interviewer mentioned, Raj Kapoor himself. She's very gracious towards him, even in terms of how strict he might have been on set and things, because she appreciated the process and she appreciated his artistic vision and what was driving him. And I think that's a real sense of maturity and respect as an artist and as a soul. as a person, and I think it's beautiful. Let's take a look. Ich liebe dich, which is the last song of this film that I will look at. Get a sense for this. This must be in Europe, and I love the fact that they were the first production really to incorporate travel to another country and the use of a landscape in another country to tell a story to an Indian audience. I think this is great. Switzerland. Wow. So sweet. So 60s.
Mademoiselle, s'il vous plaît. Ich liebe dich, I love you, je vous aime, I love you. Ya love, I love you.
Wow.
Ich I love you. Ich liebe dich, I love you, je vous aime, I love you, ya le bleu I love you, ich I love you. Shake my hand.
That's so interesting.
And love each other. Let's bring happiness in this world together.
The little interactions.
This is the only truth. Remember, my brother.
It's very improvisational.
This is the only truth. Remember, my brother. Ich liebe dich. I love you. Je vous aime. I love you.
सब लोग सारी ठंडे
फिर क्या करें?
How beautiful. What's so funny about this is I completely get it, how exotic that must have looked to so many people in India, you know, the Indian Ocean and places like that who would never have really encountered snow peaks and things like that. I've never been to that part of Switzerland. It's so interesting that as a location, bringing that sense of exoticism and travel and adventure that you get from, and the music as well, really adding to that sense of the 60s being a time of explosions of experiences and new horizons and a sense of travel that most people didn't have before. The little interactions with the locals and things like that that are totally real is so exciting, unscripted and fresh. I loved all of those little moments that they captured of a truly unusual experience. I've never been on a husky ride before with those little dogs carrying you through the mountains. It's so fun. And you can sense the characters' joy and playfulness and laughter. And what's nice about it is it's a real, in a sense, music video. The way that the editing of the music with the single shots of the landscape, of them in the snow, all of those things add up to something which is more of an experience. And that's the beauty of a music video. It's more of an experience than just plots, because what is the plot saying here? The plot is saying they are having a wonderful time, they're connecting, they're bonding in a place which they're both new to and they both feel free. That's the plot, and what they've done with it is created a really liberating moment of escapism and adventurism for the whole audience. That's what I like about that. I am so honored by this film. I really feel like it's just such a joy, and it's much more all-embracing and immersive than just watching the film on its own. Like, to be able to react to parts of the film and get feedback from you guys is a real honor for me and a joy for me and a gift. So thank you. I want to look at other films from possibly this era with maybe similar actors or maybe different actors. Let me know. I would love to know your thoughts on what I should go on to next. What could surprise me? All right, let me know. I thank you all. I appreciate you all, and I hope to get a poster for this film and put it on the back. All right, I am your Brit reacting to Bollywood. I wish you all a wonderful week and a safe one. Take care of each other. Chin chin, cheerio.